Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. So last week I had reviewed the Spirit Halloween Wolverine costume. Like Spirit Halloween's Deadpool suit, I wanted to upgrade this one as well, but I wanted to spice it up a little bit more this time. Eric came over to try the suit on before any of the adjustments were made to the suit.
Which jacked man.
Bitch.
Wolverine's beefing with the light.
You get the point!
It's just so weird having fucking claws.
I'm Wolverine. I'm Wolverine.
And honestly, it looks pretty great without anything even done to it. This project was a ton of fun. It was a little bit time consuming. I kind of worked non-stop on this thing for like 2 days and then finally finished it, and it is worth it. My cool light died, but it's fine. So I am gonna change things up a little bit when it comes to accuracy. I know I wanted to keep the shoulder pads after seeing the concept art of them keeping it on the suit. I thought it looked way better that way.
Alright guys, so the materials we're using are craft foam, red paint, a seam ripper, silver Sharpies, any knife or blade, super glue, and scissors, and some fake blood. Go ahead and take all the pieces out of the bag and lay them out. Hey look, I actually made notes this time.
The mask can be adjusted rather quickly and easily too. Be careful here, we are again using a camping torch to heat up a knife because that really easily cuts through plastic. Make sure you've got a mask of some sort to not be breathing in those plastic fumes, and again, be careful. There's really no point in saying don't try this at home. That's the whole point of this video.
It's got a foam block in here like the Deadpool mask, so I ripped that out, which immediately made it fit better to my face.
Not sure if you guys can hear the crickets outside. They are super loud right now. The belt was the easiest fix. We just used the same method from the Deadpool video. It just needed some more Velcro.
Again, the belt is really simple. The same technique we had used before. Just match up the thickness of the Velcro and glue it down. Flip those shoulder pads up. We're going to be trimming the sleeves off of this suit. It just feels necessary, and we can use that fabric for something else later. I just trimmed along the black section under those shoulder pads, careful not to go too far in. Now grab a seam ripper or something similar. We're going to be taking the shoulder pads off to customize them, but first you have to focus on taking these threads out, on the front and on the back of the shoulder area. This doesn't take terribly long, just take your time and be sure not to poke holes in the costume or yourself.
Once you've made all of the necessary adjustments for your suit, go ahead and put it to the side. We're going to give all of these accessories some structure. If you have a 3D printer, you can avoid a lot of this step. You can just 3D print parts. So if you have that option and you want to go that route, it's totally available for you.
As mentioned, here's a look at what 3D printed gauntlets look like. Eric made these for his Wolverine costume. I don't personally have a 3D printer, but if you do, as I said, that's an option for you. It is not required at all though. We're gonna lay them flat and trace them on some craft foam. We will be using foam for a lot of support in a few areas of this costume, so make sure you've got enough. Do that for each shoulder pad and put them to the side for now.
Once you've got some support in there, we've got a couple more areas to work on.
I'm gonna be doing a similar thing with the gloves. Cut out a decently thick slip of foam and put those in the gauntlets. Flip and trace the shape of the top. Once you trim it, it won't be sticking out anymore. When you've put support in both gloves, I think they look really cool. When adding supports to the shin guards, we're going to be using cardboard on the front. It's more rigid and it'll help keep its shape much better than foam will in this area. Trace and cut the size of strips you'll need for each of the 3 sections on the front. Once those are fitted correctly and not too big, flip the suit inside out and we're just going to glue those strips to the inside of the boot covers. Then took my foam and added that to the back where it's curved. After those steps, these definitely feel a lot more like shin guards.
Adding these extra pieces into the costume gives it more definition and just makes it look more structurally sound. And because of that, they start to look like they're plastic or even metal. These last 2 tips aren't technically for adding support, but I felt like they were necessary changes or additions. Like I said in that review video, the color difference between the mask and the suit was just really jarring to me. It's not that bad, but I wanted it to match.
So pull that mask back out. I hope you didn't throw away those sleeves we cut. Take that extra fabric, wrap it around your mask, and tape it down. When it's tight, you can see the details through the fabric. Outline and trim around those black sections and the nose. Cut that out and fit it to your mask, gluing down under the nose to hold your place.
Don't forget, if you cut a section too small, you've got 2 sleeves, so just try again, take it slow. You're really not going to need that fabric for much else other than one thing, and you don't need much.
In this portion, it's important to be as precise as possible, lining up the fabric right against those black ridges of the eye sections. You should have something similar to this, but we've got a lot of fabric left over, so just bunch it together and trim it. Once you glue that extra bit of fabric to the inside of the mask, we can move on. You should have some leftover elastic. If not, just get a little bit. We're going to use that to tighten up the mask. Mark that, cut it, and glue it.
It may seem kind of repetitive to cut out the elastic that's already in there and put more in, but when we remove those little tips and add stronger elastic, it actually pulls the mask back to fit our face better. I found it odd the gloves didn't have any detailing of the little blade toppers that his knives shoot out of. So I wanted to add those, and I used Sharpie caps. Just trust me, okay?
So for these Sharpie caps, I just used the torch again to heat up a knife and I cut them in half. After cutting and painting the caps, I got the placement where I wanted it and glued them down right above the blades. I then went back in with a black Sharpie just to add those little lines.
So when we get to weathering, we are going to mark out those bullet holes and those slices with a Sharpie, and then the real fun begins.
I really wanted that look from the movie, so I had plenty of reference pictures at the ready. I used the torch on the end of my scissors and poked the bullet holes, but making sure not to poke all the way through to the padding. I used the same method for the sword slices, but heat up a knife for the thinner cuts.
I really wanted that damaged metal look on the mask, like from the movie, and surprisingly, the silver Sharpie did a really good job.
Using a silver Sharpie, I applied an array of lighter and harder strokes to give that battle-damaged look to the mask. There's a lot of metal chipping on the accessories of the suit in the movie, so I wanted to add that to the gauntlets and shoulder pads with some silver Sharpie. I did this kind of randomly and just what I thought would look good along the edges of things where metal would kind of get scuffed. My blood paint mixture here is red puff paint, black puff paint, and fake blood. Mix that together and then using your tool of choice, mine was a hot glue stick, fill those bullet holes and sword slices with some of that paint. Depending on how much blood you want on the suit, you may have to do this a couple of times. Now bring out that beautiful soy sauce and kind of just go to town. I was dirtying up the creases and pretty much the whole costume, just getting it in a layer of dirt and nastiness. Don't forget to do the legs, the boot covers, the back, and especially the mask, because it really brings it all together.
I added a little bit of layering into the weathering and the dirt and the grime. Other than just using soy sauce, I also went back through with another layer of soy sauce and some black paint to give it a little bit of a color difference. This part was a lot of fun. Trying to get all the ketchup splatter and sword slices all in the correct area of the suits was a fun challenge. So once you're happy with the amount of weathering you've got on your suit, we're just gonna glue those shoulder pads back on. Or not, it's up to you.
I also applied some blood and dirt on the gloves and shoulder pads and then glued those back to the costume. If you put these back on, make sure to follow the old seams that you pulled them from when gluing it back in place.
In the review video, I showed that you can just hide that head strap with the hood that comes with the costume. But if you have long hair, that's not really possible. So I've got a remedy for that. You remember those sleeves that we cut off a long time ago? I hope you didn't throw them away.
Lastly, using what we've got left of the sleeve fabric, I wrapped and glued that matching color to our new elastic strap that we added a little bit ago.
And you've done it. There is your upgraded Wolverine Spirit Halloween costume. I think this thing looks insane, and the fact that I look at it and go, that's from Spirit Halloween, it makes me feel pretty proud of the work that I put in, and I think you guys will too. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you had fun with this project. If you'd like to see more upgrade videos and reviews, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, notification bell, all of that good stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.